I don't. This panel seeks to inform the directly impacted and those working with the directly impacted on specific measures needed to make a positive change for all children of incarcerated parents. I am Bree Anderson. I'll be your moderator for today.
Hi, Bree.
Hey, how y'all doing today? Sure. So what brings you here? You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jolly. I'm a mentee of DBI. I'm 12.
I'm Naya. I'm into DBI and I'm 14. I am Kendra Anderson and I am a parent of DBI.
And I am Dominique Johnson. I am the founder and executive director of Daughters Beyond Incarceration. And I am also the adult child of an incarcerated parent.
Okay, interesting. What grade are you guys in?
I'm going 8.
I'm going to 10.
Okay, so why are you here? Why are you here today? I want to start with Jerry.
I'm here because I want to make a change.
Nice.
Good.
Nice. At 12 years old. At 12 years old, she wants to impact change. Right.
I want to make a change in like how we supposed to like, go see our parents that are incarcerated because we don't get to see them a lot, and I feel like I feel empty that I don't get to talk to my dad.
Why are
You
you
agree
here
with
today? Shania and Jari are sisters. Why are you here today?
I'm here because I want to support the policies that are being put in place for kids of incarcerated parents. And I want to be able to help them be the voice that their parents need while they're incarcerated. Because kids are not given a fair chance when they come down to incarcerated parents.
And I agree. The things that Jari and her sister Naya and Kendra said, I echo those same sentiments as well. You know, we don't often have a voice, and most people forget about us when our parent becomes incarcerated or when they're making policies about us. They never seek to get the advice or the resources from actual children or the grassroots organizations that are supporting them. In fact, Cheyenne, she's here too.
Hey Cheyenne, you want to introduce yourself today?
Yeah, hi, my name is Cheyenne Blackburn, and I work with the Southern Poverty Law Center as a senior community advocate, and I worked with Daughters Beyond Incarceration on their policy campaign.
Hi, Cheyenne.
Hey Cheyenne.
Hi, Cheyenne.
Thank you for joining us today, Cheyenne. So I'm gonna
Thank you for having me.
double back to Dominique. What's the mission of Daughters Beyond Incarceration?
Daughters Beyond Incarceration, well, which we call it DBI for short, we work to enhance the lives of girls, or let's say children that are growing up with an incarcerated parent. Initially, we first started out working with girls, and now that we have changed laws, we realize that we are possibly going to have to look at helping all children, and not just girls with fathers that are incarcerated, but just parents in general that are incarcerated, because step parents matter. We have some girls in our program with mothers that are incarcerated as well. So we basically want to make sure that we work to enhance the whole life of that child. And that also means their caregivers, their siblings, and the person that's incarcerated as well.
Very interesting. So you ladies want to talk about the process of DBI changing laws? I remember y'all did a photo exhibition with Dr. Danielle, right? Y'all want to talk about that?
So let's talk about how we started it. Like, we took these beautiful pictures behind us, and what was that process like? I know we kind of met with Miss Wright, with Dr. Wright, I'm sorry, for about 2 weeks, was it? We met with her twice. And what were some of the things that we talked about?
We talked about how we felt about having a parent that was incarcerated
And we talked about how people often
question.
question the works that we do or the things that you do without actually asking you, how are you?
How you feel.
Or how you feel about things. And Dr. Wright had you guys pick a word or a feeling off this board where she had so many sticky notes with different feelings on there, right? And you remember which word you picked, which feeling you picked? You remember which feeling you picked? What was the best part about that experience with Dr. Wright? And Dr. Wright, Dr. Danielle Wright, she's a licensed therapist. The name of her organization is Navigate NOLA. She is born and raised in New Orleans, and she's a graduate of Tulane University. And so one of the things that we did was we brought the girls to meet with her in her office, and they each got a disposable camera, right? And what did you do with the camera?
We took pictures of each other.
And what how much fun was that? Because you took pictures with a bunch of girls, and some of the girls you never met before, but it was like when y'all got together, you were like family, right? So tell us about that experience.
That experience made me feel like if I have nobody to go to, then I could come to anybody in the group.
Right.
And so that's kind of what DBI, what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring people together from all over the city and now all over the state to have these same feelings, to help us to help us gather data to make laws and change laws for all of these people that are impacted by incarceration. In Louisiana, you have over 94,000 children that are impacted by their parents' incarceration, and nobody ever thinks to ask them how are they feeling or how they're doing. How did you feel when Dr. Wright bought her photographers and had you take these pictures with this beautiful background? What did you guys feel?
I was happy.
I was overexcited when I saw it because my daughter didn't get a chance to do this growing up. So having Dr. Danielle and Daughters Beyond Incarceration come together on this project, that was everything to me as a parent. Because Bree grew up fatherless. Her father was incarcerated, and we never had the opportunity to do things like this. They didn't have no one, DBI, and they didn't have all this to help our girls growing up. So it was everything to me. I felt the joy that they felt because I was a parent. I mean, when I was younger, my dad was incarcerated for 12 years of my life. So all of that come together, it just took me somewhere else because I was feeling like a kid, like them. Like I wanted the experience, and I wish my daughter could have had that experience.
So, did you ladies ever make friends with anyone in DBI? Talk about what it's like when y'all have events with DBI, being around your other peers, DBI residents.
I feel comfortable around you because we all going through the same thing. And we all go through each other's pain.
Yep. And what about sometimes when, like before the pandemic happened, you guys, some of y'all talked on the phone. I know you're in Trees, was it Trees that you talked about? The other breeds, yeah. And so they come together and we bring these girls that we've never met before, and they join these friends, they become friends. Because they can all talk about that one major thing that they have in common.
Kim, do you want to talk about the day DBI released each issue brief as a mom whose husband was formerly incarcerated and raised his child, and why was this important to you?
The day that DBI brought us all together for the this briefing, this policy. I didn't really understand it at first. I didn't know, what it was gonna be or whatever. but we sat there and they got up and they spoke about it, and I was like, okay, this is something new. You know what I'm saying? I want to be a part of this. When I heard, you know, and a lot of parents, they was in there and everybody was like, son, like, this is what we need. So, like I said, being a mother of a child that had a parent incarcerated, I mean, that meant everything to me, because when you tell me that you creating a policy for the kids, they have a verse, I'm like, wow, that, you know, that's something that we needed long time ago. But if we could start now, you know, I want to see this. I want to be there. I want to be able to witness this. So, you know, everybody, we feel like that was like one of the best things DBI could have did, you know, for these girls. And not even for the girls, because it goes beyond them. You know what I'm saying? Because when they tell somebody about DBI and then they tell somebody about DBI, and the word gets spread, everybody is excited, you know, and when they hear about the policies and the brief and the laws that's going into place, that's changing, everybody want to be a part of this, you know, because this is what they need.
Was it a lot of people there?
It was a lot of people, and we had a ball. I'm waiting on the next one. I'm waiting on the next law.
Remember the event where we had
The second line.
How fun was that? Remember you came on stage and
y'all had
when I first
I think they had letters that was
Y'all had
Yeah,
letters right from their head.
Oh, yeah. What was that even like?
Oh.
Now y'all remember you crying.
Yeah,
I remember you crying, Naya. I remember y'all crying.
Both of them was crying. I was even
Why were
crying.
y'all
with
crying?
them. Everybody was crying.
Because it made me feel happy that my dad could write a letter telling us, like, just talking to us.
And so one of the things that we did, we surprised the girls with a letter from their father. We wrote all of the girls in our program. We partnered with Southern University's Law Center in Baton Rouge, and they helped us by writing the girl's father and telling the girl's father that your daughter is a part of this organization that's working to change laws so that they can be closer to you. They can help build a relationship with you. And all of our fathers sent the letter back. I mean, some of our fathers even sent 4 pages letters back. Like, we asked for 1 page. Like, one daddy sent back 4 pages. And we had a mother that sent back 5.5 pages. And I mean, so they were so excited, and none of the girls knew what we were doing. So we asked the girls to stand up while we read a letter from their incarcerated loved one, and the tears just flowed, not just from the girls, but from everybody in the crowd.
Cheyenne, we needed extra tissue in there. That was awesome.
And it was good to have Southern Poverty Law Center there as a community supporter. We had Vote NOLA there. We had so many different people, so many different grassroots organizations. Buku Media. We had what was the guy's name that filmed it for us? Leroy Crawford.
Oh yeah, Leroy.
And we just had so many people there that loved us and cared for us. They're supporting us.
Dominique, you want to talk about forming a committee and what that's like?
And so, you know, I never really knew that Bree and I were going to make such a huge change. I mean, one day I think we were sitting in a car and we was like, what could we do to not just help the girls in our program, but to help all children that were impacted by incarceration? And so we said, damn, we need to change some laws. Mm-hmm. And I think I was shocked that we were at that point at such an early stage. And so we immediately called Southern Poverty Law Center. I had lunch with an attorney from their office, and that attorney took notes and came back with a 5-page issue brief. And the only thing I could think about was, damn, these are our words. These are the exact things that the girls mentioned and how they wanted to change it. Southern Poverty Law Center delivered it. We had testimonies from formerly incarcerated people, persons like Robert Jones, who's the founder of Freedom Foundations. We had formerly incarcerated person, Norris Henderson, who's the founder of Vote NOLA. We included data from Dr. Danielle Wright. We included voices from a national organization called We Got Us Now. And so we just had we had so much support that it was overwhelming. And I think when Bree and I stopped to visualize what it was that we were doing, you know, we actually was like, damn, we're visionaries. We made a vision, we made a plan. The one thing that I did that I think was impactful for that plan was that we put dates by it. So when we made that plan, we made goals, we put dates by it, and that's when the committee was formed. So we took people from Vote NOLA, formerly incarcerated persons, we have caregivers, we have a therapist, we have a national organization, and we have local community members. And we formed that committee that now lives in the governor's office. And we just started in 2018. Yeah, I was like, damn, we bad. I was like, we bad.
So Cheyenne, can you talk about the process within SPLC and the importance of each committee member?
Right. So kind of our process, I mean, it started right with the DBI coming to us with the brief. I think it was unique for us because I feel like we're not a grassroots organization, right? We're a grass tops. And so we're like always, you know, used to be at the forefront. And I think like what organizations like ours can do better is support folks who are on the ground and folks who are directly impacted by these things. And so when we did so we had the issue brief that they referenced earlier, and then now the point was to execute it. So there were a bunch of recommendations within that issue brief, and then we ended up kind of narrowing it down to kind of two things we were going to push during our legislative session, and one of them was a committee, and one of them was attempting to get free phone calls. Like where we started was doing a lot of research. We had to figure out what law is going to go where, and then we had to write the actual legislation. And that's a whole like thing within itself because, you know, you have to write legislation in a way that's going to fit within the law. It has a certain format. And then you also have a bunch of stakeholders. And I think the important, the important process is like, once we got to the point where we were like, all the people we need on the commission, we had to make sure that like, we had the right people at the table. We have like stakeholders like Sheriff's Association, law enforcement association agencies, the Department of Education to talk about things that are affecting children of incarcerated parents within the education system. We had to make sure we had directly impacted people there. So folks who were formerly incarcerated, folks who are currently incarcerated, children of incarcerated parents, we have to have them all at the table. So we had to write it in a way where, you know, the commission can do something, because the commission is only good as the people who are in it, and it's really good as who is the chair, really. So we had to enable like create a process for selecting a chair as well. And so what was great is that like once you go into, well, not what's great, but like what's hard is like once you go into the legislative session, once you file a bill, right, you never know what it's going to turn out to be, because there are so many people, you know, once it's public, there's so many people who want to make changes, so many people who have opinions. And so what was great about our bill is that the governor's office took interest in it. I mean, we were going along pretty well, and we had gotten out of one legislative body, and then we were kind of moving on to the Senate House. Then the governor's office actually took interest in our panel and said, hey, our office is going to give you funding and give you support. And so that was really important, and it's great because we have a Democratic governor and interested in making this a priority and making sure that children of incarcerated parents are an issue on the table, and that they're being heard and that they're being seen. So they also really helped us push this forward. And then DBI was also able to form a relationship with our legislative sponsor, Representative Marcel, and they were able to like build this relationship, get her to file the bill very, very quickly, because we kind of we drafted the legislation very quickly, and we were on a very short timeline, and so we had to build these relationships very quickly. They did a really good job with that. I mean, we just kind of did the nerding part. But what's great is that, like, you know, I think now with, like, it's really interesting seeing everything that's been going on in the world, especially like with police brutality, and kind of seeing the push towards, you know, things like abolition and then like thinking about, like, you know, incarceration in itself is like a problem, and like all of these things are in itself is like a problem. And so I'm really interested in seeing that we can put the system together and push the system even further.
Interesting. I have two questions. I'm gonna start with Dominique, and then I'm gonna come back to you, Cheyenne. How difficult was it to file a bill during COVID?
It was extremely difficult. For one, I had just delivered twins in February, in the beginning of February, and then 3 weeks later, we are stuck inside with nowhere else to go. And then all of these emotions hit. We had to deal with our incarcerated loved ones not being able to visit their children, not being able to talk to their children. And then we had to deal with our girls. You know, our mentees are our most important thing that runs this group. Like, we had to deal with how they're feeling, how they're, we had to answer all of their questions. What's gonna happen to my dad? I mean, are they gonna test him? How are they gonna know, you know, how are we gonna know that he has the supplies that he needs? And what happens if he doesn't? Because the truth of the matter is that he didn't. They didn't. I mean, Jari and Naya's dad is incarcerated in Oakdale Prison, which is a federal prison in Louisiana. The last time I checked, there was over 20 deaths in that prison alone. My father's incarcerated in Angola. Today is Tuesday. I talked to him Sunday, and he literally told me that he watched 2 people die on his dorm, on his tier, because they refused to test these guys. And I mean, he literally is saying that he's watching these guys vomit blood, and they are just having feces coming down their legs, and the feces is mixed with blood. And so, in addition to me dealing with that, I'm raising 4 kids, I'm a wife, and I'm a business owner. And it's difficult because I can't do the things that I normally do. And most importantly, I can't visit my father. So what a lot of people fail to realize is that as a nonprofit leader, you don't have time to just relax. We don't have grant funding that allows you to relax, right, Bree? You know, we have grant funding that'll give you operational support, but what about your mental health? And so what I think COVID-19 has really shown is how the nonprofit world, even as Black women leaders, it lacks the support for mental health support for its leaders during a crisis. And not only that, we also need support when it comes time to having your maternal instincts. I couldn't take a maternity leave. I think I probably had a week off or a few days. But because the girl still needed my help, it's just Bree and I running this office, and there's so much work that needs to be done. So the legislative process, it kind of went by extremely fast. And to be quite honest with you, it was exhausting.
Were there any oppositions, or what was the vote?
I think it was 9 yeas, and there were no nays. I don't think anybody disagreed with it. I think everybody agreed that this was a necessary bill, and they wanted to pass it, especially because the governor's office recommended that it be housed in his office as well.
Okay, good. And Cheyenne, how difficult was it for SPLC to help get a bill passed during COVID?
This session was really strange. Louisiana's already, like, legislative session is already, like, really, it's a lot of networking, it's a lot of ripping and running to begin with. And so during COVID, right, our legislature shut down, and we were hearing reports that, like, you know, they may not hear some things. They, you know, I think we were convinced that, like, our bills are not even going to get heard, so we'll probably, you know, good luck, we file them next year. But then we were able to get them added to the agenda. And so once we did, we had, what, four weeks to make sure that they got through both sides of the House, they got scheduled, that they had enough time to lay over. And so we really got our last bill through, like, the last week of session, like on the, second to last day or something like that. So it was really tough. And we, you know, we had to do a lot of texting and making sure that, like, you know, that folks were where we needed to be, and that representatives were, that representatives were presenting our bill. And so that stuff was very, very tough for us. But we ended up doing it, and it was great.
That's good. So how do you guys watch the sessions? Did you guys go to the Capitol or virtual? How does that work?
So normally we will be there in person as much as possible. However, with COVID, we're concerned about, like, the health of our staff, for one, and then also, like, our organization had passed down a policy that none of us were allowed to travel or anything like that. So we ended up having to just watch all of our legislative hearings are screened live. So we were just doing a lot of watching and making sure and monitoring and texting folks when we needed to. And luckily we had some allies who were going and showing up and helping us out.
Okay. Well, I have a question for Jari and Trinaya. How difficult has COVID-19 impacted your relationship or your engagement with your mentors at DBI and the other DBI members?
It made us talk to them less than what we normally talk to them, because, like, we'll normally meet with them, like, every month, twice a month. But since COVID, we can't really talk to them how we want to.
When was the last time you saw them? So it's your first time seeing each other since?
Yeah.
What about you, Jari? How does it make you feel that you can't be around the other members in DBI right now?
It makes me feel like makes me feel empty again.
I mean, I think it was difficult for our girls learning to communicate in a different way. And so what we had to realize was that this wasn't a time for us to panic and just give up on them. We had to think about alternative measures on how we can still reach the girls. The thing is that New Orleans is such a loving culture to where, you know, we love on each other through hugs and laughs and seafood. And the fact that we couldn't do that, it kind of had everybody a little depressed. And we went through this little phase where Bree and I was trying to figure out, okay, what can we do? Or what do we do? Or how do we do that? And so when we came up with the ideas that, okay, we're gonna try to get laptops for the girls, it was already after they had already done some online school, and they were tired of laptops at that point. Like, I think our youngest mentee, Carly, she said, I don't want to sit in front of a computer anymore.
During the school session.
Because, you know, she was tired. She's not used to homeschool. And then, you know, to actually say, okay, the girls that I have fun with, I got to have fun with them on a computer.
Right.
Like, that was something so out of the ordinary for her. She was just not okay with it. So when we heard Carly say that, I think we kind of said that, you know, a lot of the girls must feel the same way. So we just had to put our creative hats on and go with it.
So what type of activities you gonna host with the girls?
So now that we're working on, getting the laptops, we also got jump ropes for our girls. We have yoga mats for our girls, and we're going to start doing some challenges. We talked to one of our moms. I actually talked to Kendra, who also talked about maybe doing some where we can do like a Zoom call where a chef comes on and show them how to make healthier meals. So we're going to try to make everything a challenge to give people an incentive to actually come on and log on. And they'll be excited about logging on. So like with the jump ropes, we'll make a jump rope challenge. If every girl whoever jumps 500 jumps in a day, you'll get a gift card or something like that. Yes.
And it also helps with their health.
Yeah, and it also helps.
Them be healthy instead of just sitting home,
Yeah.
not doing nothing.
So we're gonna try to be creative.
I'm winning today.
So we're gonna be creative, and we're gonna start rolling out our programs hopefully within the next month.
All right, and for the final question that I have for all 5 of you, how do you feel about the bill being passed?
I feel like I will get to see my father more often, and I will get to talk to him more.
And how does it make you feel that your voice was a part of that policy? Because you recorded your voice, put your words on paper, and it went to the governor's office.
It makes me feel like I made a change.
Yes!
Superstar.
Go achieve. Go achieve.
It makes me feel like a hero.
That's amazing.
Like it makes me feel like me being my daddy's voice will help my daddy more. Being in the situation that he in.
And Trinaya, when we first met her, Trinaya, I'm not talking, I'm not being on camera, don't ask me nothing, I'm just here. And so this, having her here and speaking
On the camera?
On camera, I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her.
How does it make you feel that DBI passed the bill?
Oh, it makes me feel so excited. I cry every time, y'all. Everything. Can you hear me? I cry. I do, because it made me feel like, to see our kids be able to help make that change, it gives them more reason to push harder in life, to know that, oh, I did this, I can do that, and make them want to go a step further, and it's going to help a lot of them to say, to even just know that I was a part of that, it mean a lot, especially coming from, our kids with all that's going on today in today's world right now, with the everything that's going on, COVID, the protests, everything that's going on. And I think that's a positive thing that came out of 2020 for them. When everybody's complaining about 2020 has been so bad, but yet we did get something good out of it, So that make a difference for me. And it just have me excited, and I'm ready for the next move. I was even, kind of shy to do, things like that. But now I'm open, because I see the difference that it's making for these girls. They are our future.
And I feel accomplished. We started DBI in May of 2018, and to say that this is June of 2020 and we're lawmakers, I feel proud. Especially because I grew up in one of the roughest areas in this city. The same with our projects. There were times that I had to walk over feces and urine just to get upstairs to my house. And now I'm changing laws. With an incarcerated father, parents who only have high school educational backgrounds, and they have a daughter that's a lawmaker. I'm proud.
Right. And can I say this also? I am so proud. I'm proud of Bree. I'm proud of Dominique. I'm proud of these girls. I'm proud of myself. Being these girls, they went to school. Both of them went to school for, I know it was something that had nothing to do with incarceration, and to see them here now soaring, in their calling, in their purpose. That's amazing. Who would have ever thought? I know they didn't think so. I didn't see it, you know what I'm saying? I didn't see it coming, but it goes to show you how things can change if you just put your mind to it and you work together to make that dream work. And that teamwork that they had, that's what it did, is making a dream work. And now that they move forward and they changing policies and, coming together with so many different grassroots, organizations to all of them are coming together to create these changes in these laws that they needed to be changed, and it's happening today. So I just want to say this, 2020 was not so bad. It's not so bad. We're making changes.
Yep.
For the best.
And Cheyenne, how does it make you feel that DBI passed the bill along with SPLC help?
I think I feel two things. I think I feel extremely elated. This is great. This is my second legislative session where I really worked on an affirmative instrument that I actually got to help write and stuff. That was really exciting. And so it was great to just see it fly by and see it go through without opposition. I think the only thing that makes my heart hurt is that the fact that we need to create these commissions, that we need these laws, and I would like to see us work towards a world without mass incarceration and without the need where we don't have to create these types of systems because people are supported at home in their communities already, and girls don't have to look at their fathers through a window or behind to see them and change. And so putting that aside, this was amazing.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
We had fun working with y'all.
So we're gonna end the conversation with DBI makes me feel. I'll start it off. DBI makes me feel seen.
DBI makes me feel comfortable.
DBI makes me feel happy.
DBI makes me feel powerful.
DBI makes me feel heard.
Thank you,
You feel
DBI.
inspired? I was gonna say DBI makes me feel inspired.
Oh, thank you,
you,
Cheyenne. What she said? DBI makes her feel inspired. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Y'all have a good day. Thank y'all for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.